should kick in. And we should...
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today is May 23rd. It's about 3 minutes past 9. If everybody could please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. Then I'm going to ask you to remain standing for our invocation by Christine Kaufman, Rescue Director with Crosspoint Community Church.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh.
Would you join me? Father God, creator of the universe, so big and yet so intimate, would you join us in the room now? Father, I thank you for this Board of Supervisors, for Jody and the other board members that are in D.C. and joining remotely. God, thank you that you can connect us here in this moment. I pray for their families, for the situations they've come from, a lot of things probably on their minds. I pray that you would lay peace over that as they sit and have conversation and make decisions, Lord, for the good of the community. God, I thank you for them. I pray that they would have your wisdom, that you would speak wisdom to them. God, that each conversation would be seasoned with grace. Thank you for those in the room representing our community. God, we thank you that this is a place that we can live in peace, and that those that are making these decisions are looking out for the best interest of others. Thank you, God, because that's what you call us to do. So be with them today. I pray for humility. I pray for wisdom. And Lord, I ask that you would just bless the conversations and decisions ahead. In Jesus' powerful name, amen.
Okay, Christine, thank you very much. That was great. All right, as Christine mentioned, we have a couple supervisors and our CEO remote this morning. They're in Washington, D.C., back there begging to get some of the money that we sent there back into our county. And I'm going to just make sure you guys are out there. Jody, Chance, Manny, you guys there?
Yep, we're here.
Okay.
Reporting from sunny Washington, D.C.
All right. Good to hear you guys' voices. All right. I think the first thing we have to do is since we have a whole lot of documents that have to be signed today,
Yes.
I think we need to vote on that to say who's going to sign them.
Yes, we'd like to have the chair, Terry Withrow designated as the chair pro tem so that we can get some documents signed. And if someone would make that motion, that would be.
Make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we're going to have to do a roll call.
Yes.
Vote, please.
District 1 Supervisor Condit?
Yes.
District 2 Supervisor Chiesa?
Yes.
District 3 Supervisor Withrow?
Yes.
District 4 Supervisor Grewal?
Aye.
And District 5 Chairman Condit?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Passes unanimously. All right, we're going to move on to our presentations is what we're going to start off with here. And I think Jeff Dirksey, the sheriff, has got an update on our local emergency due to the winter storms and flooding impacting Stanislaus County. Jeff, how are you?
I am good. Good morning, Mr. Chair Pro Tem.
Yeah, something like
members
that.
of the board.
Terry's good.
Okay. Ms. Dietrich and Mr. Bose. So, quick update just on the state of emergency. We are still under the state of emergency regarding our flooding. And the situation in the rivers really has not changed. Our flows on both the Tuolumne and the Stanislaus and the San Joaquin are all pretty much where they have been, and we don't really foresee any changes with that. That being said, we have been blessed with a relatively pleasant spring, and as we move into summer with fairly moderate temperatures, and that is helping because if we had any long-term heat spikes, that would accelerate snowmelt, which could change the situation. But we're in a pretty good situation, status right now. So we don't plan on any significant changes. Now, with that, we also don't intend to recommend that you remove the state of emergency anytime soon. And there's two factors. One, we do still have a block of folks who are under an evacuation order at Catfish Camp, and we don't see that changing. And as you know, I at least don't like to be outside of a state of emergency as long as people are mandated to evacuate. And then the final piece to that is that we are still going through the state and federal process to potentially recoup any of the money that we have expended on this emergency. And that process is still ongoing. And as much as I don't necessarily agree with the bureaucracy of it, us being under a state of emergency helps in that process for possible compensation or reimbursement from either the state or the federal government. So that is it, pending your questions.
Very good. Thanks, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff?
Stay out of the rivers.
Yep, stay out of the rivers.
Yes,
That's right.
but our river patrol is out and in force, so we're very happy to have that. They've been doing a great job in the last 3 days,
Okay.
and I'm
Jeff.
next, so.
Very good. All right, so thank you for that. Okay, then we'll move on to the next one. Next is going to be an update on the Ray Simon Regional Criminal Justice Training Center. Jeff, you're
Yes.
up again.
Well, thank you for that. This has been, Lieutenant Hill is coming up. He's going to actually do the majority of this presentation. But this presentation has been kind of set for a couple of months, and it was actually fortuitous that we scheduled it because there's some really good news that I'm going to let Casey share with you here shortly. But suffice it to say that I'm incredibly proud of him and his team at the training center and the excellent work that they have done and are doing out there. You know, and one of the key points that we want to make is that I think that most folks in the county think of the training center as the academy, the police academy. And I think that's what goes through their mind when they consider that facility, but it is so much more than that. And that is the big takeaway that I want you all to realize, the volume of people and the amount of training and the quality of the training that goes on out there, not just for new hires, whether it's the basic post academy for our street deputies or the core academy for our custodial deputies, but it's all the advanced training that occurs as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Casey Hill and let him take it away, and then we'll be back for your questions. So
Thanks,
Casey,
Jeff.
it's all you.
Lieutenant,
Thank you.
good morning. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you folks for letting me speak. Yes, I would like to give you guys an update on the Regional Training Center out at the what was formerly known as the Ray Simon Training Center. And there's been a lot of big changes in the last, probably significantly in the last 4 years, but over the last 8 years, we've started this progression of reopening the academy, and so on and so forth. And I just wanted to share with you guys kind of the journey that we've gone on, and then it culminates to a big announcement here at the end. So, you know, first I'd like to just talk about the differences between the academy and the training center. Following the financial crisis about 2010, we were unfortunately had to shut down the academy, but we were able to be very fortunate to reopen in 2015. And that didn't just come with reopening because of, you know, finances and stuff like that. Post actually approached the sheriff's office at the time, and they wanted to run this pilot program that they thought was good for beginning law enforcement training, and we kind of took on that project in 2015 in what we call a problem-based learning, scenario-based academy. And we currently, it's grown to the point where we are the shortest academy in the state at 740 hours. We're far beyond. I think that the longest academy, I believe, is CHP in like 1,250 hours or something like that. So we're almost half of what some other academies are across the state, hours-wise. And we've grown to the point where our success rate through an FTO program is at 83%. And at one time, we actually touched 85%. Just recently, we dipped back down to 83%. But we've had a lot of success with the academy. We've had, it's a very intense academy. It's a very intense 5 months for these recruits and the training staff. Just a couple months ago, we were asked to step down to San Diego and give a presentation on behalf of Post for our academy and how they would like to make that the standard across the state. Just yesterday, I met with representatives from the CHP office, CHP's academy, that came down and want to model your guys' program there at Stanislaus County. So I've been reached out to by dozens of agencies and academies across the state just on pointers on how they can implement this program. So the academy is very healthy. We are in high demand. I'm constantly having to juggle the demand versus the amount of allowed spots that I have by our guidelines, but the academy is healthy and it's running smooth. Now, forever we've always been referred to as the academy. That's what people call us, the academy, the academy, the academy. But the academy is just a very small sliver of what we offer there at the training center. And about 2019, we really started this push to move it from the academy and the stigma of just being an academy to back to be the regional training center. We've got a lot of assistance and a lot of partnerships. We've continued a partnership on a lower level with the Modesto Police Department. We've created new partnerships with the Ceres Police Department, Turlock Police Department, all of which come and use our facility routinely because we have a great facility and great programs there. Oakdale Police Department has also reached out lately, and we're beginning to start a relationship with them as well. So just to kind of touch on what we've done at the training center, this next slide, it was actually astounding to me when I got the numbers at the end of 2022, just because you get so involved in the grind and teaching every day. And I said, hey, let's run some numbers of last year, and it was astounding to me that we trained 4,149 students in 2022. And to step back and look at the breakdown of all the different courses that we offer, and if you look at the top of that list, it just says Academy, and 201 students came through the Academy in 2022. And that's just I don't know the percentage, but you could just look at the astounding numbers across the board and how EVOC itself is 1,112 students came through our EVOC program. The Academy, although very intensive, right, 740 hours, some of those courses on the board, there were only 2 hours. The Academy is very intensive staff-wise, but at the same time, it's only a sliver of the courses that we offer there. And the courses that you see there are students from all across the region, all across our agency. We're trying to solidify, or all across our county, we're trying to solidify law enforcement training and keep it consistent across multiple different agencies, whether it's a contract city of ours, of course, or the Ceres Police Department, Turlock Police Department. And one of that, those things show in the way that we started a school resource officer group, that all school resource officers from every agency in the entire county come together and meet bi-monthly. They get training. We're bringing the school resource officer school here for all of those people to get trained consistently so they know how to respond when they're helping each other out, and our schools are ultimately safer and they're better trained SROs. So just those numbers there are, quite astounding to me when I first saw them. I'd like to touch on like our perishable skills and what that means, and what the Commission on Post says that we have to have perishable skills program, which is PSP courses, which they mandate biannually. Every peace officer must attend these trainings, and these trainings consist of firearms, arrest and control, driving, racial profiling, first aid, CPR, hazmat update, and there's just so many other courses that we offer. And so back, I believe in like 2008, 2007, we developed a program called STOP, right? Sheriff's Tactical Operations Program, and that course contained all of those PSPs. However, in 2010, only 20 of those 40 hours of the STOP course were mandated by the state. We used that other 20 hours to implement things that we thought were trending in law enforcement, some needs that we felt that our officers and deputies needed at the time. However, as we've grown, especially in 2020, the amount of hours that Post dedicates to those PSPs has doubled. So now we're almost at 40 full hours of what is mandated by Post. So we saw this huge need for the Sheriff's Office, and how can we stay current? Unfortunately, when trends come to order in law enforcement, it sometimes takes state level government to catch up to that. And then it takes time for these mandates to come and put down on peace officers. And now by the time it's mandated on us, we're 2-3 years behind the curve on when the training and when it's trending in our communities. So with this advanced officer training, we've been able to implement new and trending events that kick off in law enforcement that we need to address immediately. And this advanced officer training has allowed us to really focus on the needs of the community and what they are expecting from us, and we can train our guys almost immediately. Within a year, we can get our entire department trained on these trends, whether it's sideshows that we've been dealing with, or de-escalation tactics, active shooter. We had an entire year trained for how to deal with incidents that occur at legal marijuana dispensaries, because we knew that was trending in the county. So we've done a good job of trying to stay current in our advanced officer training. Another idea that we had starting about 2019 was, instead of us sending our deputies across the state for training with costs incurred because of travel and so on and so forth, meals and everything, we decided to bring these vendors to our county and to our training center. And they come to our training center. Now we can house our deputies, our sergeants, our specialty teams at the training center, get them all trained consistently as a team, and it comes with a huge cost decrease to the county because we're just bringing in the vendor. We really took flight during COVID. There's sunny sides to the pandemic as well. We stayed running, and these vendors needed places to reach out to teach, and we got partnerships with them, and they've continued those partnerships because they love the training, working at the training centers. We've been able to bring these vendors in to help us with that significantly. So it's been a lot of help. One of my favorite things, right? I'm a community guy. I worked as a community deputy. I love working in the community. We've done a great job of bringing the community into our training. From all these different groups that are up, we have them come into the academy. We have them come in and speak to the recruits. We have them a part of our advanced officer training. We have them a part of our STOP programs. We do demonstrations for Leadership Modesto and the Turlock Police Department's Community Advisory Board, our Force Option Simulator out there. We love bringing these community partnerships in to see exactly what we do. So we've done a huge push in that. More recently, probably in the last year and a half, we've done a lot of bringing the community in to kind of see their product that they're getting and share their opinions. So that's been really great for us. And what do we look forward to in the future? We want a critical incident response training because those critical incidents could occur, whether it be a school shooting or other type of critical incident, of how to juggle those, not only from a deputy level but a supervisory level. A lot of our supervisors are very young. And we're looking to increase our critical incident response. And then, of course, the hot topic in law enforcement is always use of force. And we would like to create some type of use of force review team in-house that we can review, watch body cameras, watch incidents, dissect things, and then pull training points from those use of force incidents that we see trending. And then our instructors, right? We would like to continue developing our instructors so that when our other agencies can come to us as experts, to continue, the instruction and give them the state-of-the-art type instruction. Then ultimately, if we continue to grow and continue to, especially the use of force review team, we would like to see maybe adding positions as either training coordinators or supervisors at the training center. We've grown so much; it just consists now of one sergeant and one lieutenant. We've grown so much there that we feel that there's a need to move forward with this use of force review team and have maybe a possible sergeant oversee that. Ultimately, as I go through these numbers, and every number is significant, right? And all these numbers of students trained, I really like to focus on this number, right? And this number it's infinity, right? It can't be defined, right? And we come from a dark time at the sheriff's office. We lost a lot of folks. And since 2017, 2018, we've moved forward and lost nobody. And I really see that as a focus on training. And I thank you guys, and I thank the sheriff's office, I thank the command staff for really giving us the autonomy at the training center to really run a good program. The amount of citizen complaints, use of force incidents, deaths in the line of duty can't be quantified with the amount of good training that we've been able to give. So I really do thank you, everybody, for prioritizing training. It's a real passion of mine and those at the training center. And ultimately, I stared across from the staff at the training center and I kind of challenged them at the beginning of the year, and it's ultimately culminated to, of course, my clicker stops working right here at the, at the crescendo of this. So I was just informed of March 22nd that the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office is going to be receiving the Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training Excellence and Training Organizational Achievement Award for being the best training division in the entire state, not just the Region 4. We're talking from Oregon to all the way down to the LA counties, right? So for Stanislaus County, little old Stanislaus County, to be leading the way in organizational achievement, I thought it was an ultimate testament to my team at the training center. I can't thank them enough for all the hard work that they do. I can't thank you guys enough for prioritizing training and the Sheriff Command staff. So I was lucky enough to, the Sheriff's going to allow us to take my entire team up to Sacramento on June 8th to receive our award. So I thank you guys again. Can't thank you guys enough. And then it looks like my slide isn't working to go to questions, so no questions. All right, cool. Thank you.
Sorry, you can't get off that easy, Casey. But thank you. Great job. And we're so proud of what you guys are doing and all the hard work that you're doing. And we support you wholeheartedly and very much appreciate everything you're doing. Do we have any comments or questions?
Yeah,
Vito.
I think this is the big reveal, so just so everyone knows, I didn't know any sooner than you did just now that it's fantastic. And I think the responsiveness in training, just what you were talking about, to what are newer issues or a different look, I think the best thing we can do is bring all of the jurisdictions together. This seems to be a place because everyone is so parochial with their police or their sheriff's departments that they may not work as well together as they should. And I don't think that's across the board. I just think that, and so training seems to be one of those areas where we can completely come together. And is there, because of the shorter time period, the 740 hours, do we have more jurisdictions? Because that saves them money, right? They're paying the officers to go through, or the cadets to go through the training. Does that save them money in the end?
It absolutely saves them money. And not just in tuition, but you're talking wages that they would have to pay for the longer time. And if it's a local academy, they can send them here without sending or putting up housing or funding for housing and meals that would be out of county. So it absolutely saves them money without a doubt. And we do have a lot of people that high demand for Stanislaus' Academy. So because of that, because of the 740 hours.
So do we charge more? Is there a higher cost in the actual entry?
Yes, so right, we're currently about $6,100. It's at $6,000 and some change, about $6,100 for tuition. We do charge more because of the style of academy that we run with scenario based, because props and role players and such like that. But all of our budgets are approved by Post. We don't just magically make up a number. Post looks at what and then says, yes, you should be charging this amount based upon the program. So we do charge a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much again, Lieutenant. Your enthusiasm, you've hooked me. So.
Okay, thanks, Vito. Buck?
Lieutenant, thank you for such a great presentation. And congratulations. That's a real testament to your team and to the command staff for getting there. Great numbers. Coming from the fire service, when we started training regionally, you've seen a big uptick in safety and the way incidents were handled a lot more safely operationally, and incidents seem to go a lot better. Do you see that happening now locally as the regional trainer for Stanislaus County?
Without a doubt. I mean, if you would just look at, I'm just going to take our drone teams as an example. The Regional Training Center has been a hub for many agencies to come and use and they come and train together. They can operate each other's machinery. They work well in the field. So just the drone team alone, and that's not talking about all the other courses that were listed up there, but just absolutely, I see better relationships, just friendships out of proximity because they know these people now. There's no more of the standoff. I'm not going to do what. It's just they know each other. They can get to work better, and it just as you said, it just this brings all these people together, regardless of agency or patch that they wear. So, absolutely.
Which is just all better for the community.
Absolutely.
Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Buck. Anybody, Chance or Manny back there in DC, any comments, questions?
Yes, sir.
No, not yet.
Just
Vito.
congratulations.
Thanks, Manny.
Congratulations to the team.
Thank you.
Okay,
No
very good.
response. Thank you. We appreciate their service.
Very good. And then, just again, Casey, it doesn't surprise me at all that we're becoming the gold standard across the state, it sounds like. And it's kind of a common theme, I feel like, with Stanislaus County. We seem to be doing that all the time lately. And you guys are just another example of that. So we're very proud of all the work you guys do and everything you're doing there. So thank you for doing this today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Jeff?
Yeah, if I could, I just do want to give one final thank you to Casey and his team. And to Captain Torrey Hughes, who was his predecessor out there, who set some of this up and got some of this moving, turned it over to Casey. And so It is just that this is a prime example of when you have the right people in the right spot and you let them run and do what they need to do, this is what you get. So Casey, to you and your team, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Casey. Okay, very good. Miguel, we'll come back to public comment. You'll get a chance to. Okay, next up, we're going to have Tina Rocha, Employee Volunteer Mentor Program Recognition. This is a great program that we have going here. Tina, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing very well. This is exciting to get to present this today. So good morning, Chairperson Condit, Supervisors, CEO Hayes, Chief Operating Officer Dietrich, and County Council Bose. Wow, that was a tongue twister. I'm going to go back and practice that one again. So with me today is Patricia Lord. She's a management consultant in the Chief Executive Office, and she has been instrumental in relaunching the program this year. We would not be where we are if she had not dedicated time and energy to do this. So thank you very much, Patricia. So many of us may remember having an adult who had a positive and powerful influence on our emotional and intellectual development. So many school children are faced with challenges that begin before and continue after the school bell rings. Mentoring provides support and consistency for children and enhances the future of the community that we work in and that we live in. The County Employee Mentor Program was initiated in 1998 as a cornerstone of Stanislaus County's commitment to building community, and it's really exciting now that we have our We Build community that we get to build around. The program continued for 22 consecutive years until it was paused in March of 2020 due to the COVID-19 emergency. We are pleased to announce that the program relaunched during the 2022-23 school year with the assistance of our community partners, Modesto City Schools, as well as the Sierra Vista Child and Family Services, and we also received support from the Stanislaus County Library team. So our mentors got ready. There was a few steps they went through to get ready for the year. They filled out a volunteer application. This application assisted Modesto City Schools in pairing mentors and mentees together. Modesto City Schools also completed and paid for all the live scan and TB testing for this program. Something that we added new was the Sierra Vista Family and Children Services training. This was voluntary. I believe all the mentors chose to go through it, and it provided a comprehensive interactive training program to prepare the volunteer mentors for success with important guidelines on working with their mentees, establishing trust and setting boundaries, providing support, and just overall being a very positive role model for the children. Stanislaus County Library came along and included age-appropriate training materials such as books and the STEAM activities, introducing science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And then at the end of the year, the library staff helped us prepare an incentive program package for each mentor that they will be delivering to the mentees so they have something to read and work on over the summer. And then lastly, Modesto City Schools worked with us to help coordinate the placement of the volunteers, and we were at 7 different elementary sites this year. So I do want to stress that this was definitely a team effort. Does not work without all of our community partners, and it certainly doesn't work without the county employees that volunteer their time for this program. This year we had 47 employees. They were volunteering once a week. Their mentees were in grades K through 6, and as I said, we were at 7 school sites this year. So I just wanted to thank the Board of Supervisors, CEO, senior leadership, department directors, and all the community partners for their continued support of this program. And again, a special thanks to all the employees who are volunteering their time and dedicating each week to make a difference in the life of a child in our community. This year we started a new tradition. Each of the volunteers is going to be getting a little lapel pin that says 2023, and we thought that would be something nice to start so they can accumulate those, wear them on the lapel or their badge lanyard, and it'll be a little bragging rights for them to see how many they can accumulate over the years. So at this time, I would like to ask all the county employees that are here that did participate this year in the program to come on up and take a photo.
Okay.
That's great. Wow.
Okay, we've got a bunch of our mentors here. If we could, Erica, before we do the picture, Erica, if we could just real quick, first I just want to thank you guys for all you do. And I got to tell you, when I first became a supervisor 100 years ago, I got involved in this mentoring program, and I got to tell you, it's the most fulfilling thing that I did. And as I got busier and busier, then my wife got involved in it. And it's just amazing what a difference you make as a mentor. And you don't know it. It's not really about you go there to help them read and whatever we're supposed to do school-wise, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than the reading with the kid. It's really just sitting there and talking with them. And just what a difference you can make in their life. So many of these kids see nothing besides from when they leave their house to the school and then back to their house. That's their whole world. It's just that little path that they go every day, and they don't see anything else. And by having you guys come there and see and talk to them, they get an opportunity to see other things in the world that they would never see. They get to hear other things just from stories that you guys share. I know one day I went and my guy wasn't available, so I went out on the playground just to see what was going on out there, and I saw a couple kids playing catch with a football. And so I said, let's run some patterns. And so I had them run some little button hooks. And I'll tell you, within 5 minutes, we had 50 kids lined up there wanting to run little button hooks. And just kids screaming for attention, screaming for some discipline. And it's just unbelievable what a difference this program makes. And so I'm just so proud of all you guys for doing this, and encourage you to get other individuals to do it, because it's life-changing. It really is life-changing for these kids, the relationships you develop with them, and will continue on with them, for the rest of their lives. And it's life-changing for us too. It really helps us see what a difference. I've gotten away from it. My wife has gotten away from it. We've got 8 grandkids now, and it's just, our life is crazy now, just trying to manage that. But as much as all of us can, get involved, and it really can change this community. So thank you guys for what you're doing. Let's take a picture. Okay, Tina, thank you very much. That was great. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. This is the portion of the meeting where we get to come up and talk about anything you'd like to talk about that's not on the agenda, and you'll have an opportunity to make comments on items that are on the agenda as we move through those. And we try to limit it to 5 minutes for the public comment here. Okay, we're going to start off with Mike Daniels. Michael, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing this morning?
We're good, thank you.
Good. You know what? I want to add on to the good news. A lot of good news this morning, and I want to share something that I think is very cool that is happening right here in our own community. So, how many of you are familiar with the spelling bee, the National Spelling Bee, the one they put on ESPN? Did you know that they do other bees? They do geography bee, history bee, science bee. So there's an organization called the International Academic Competition, and each year they get thousands of kids together from 4th all the way through high school and have them compete over different subjects, geography, history, as I mentioned. So one of our local kids here is representing California at the 5th grade level, beat out 150 other kids in order to compete next week in Washington, D.C. for a chance to be the 5th grade U.S. champion in geography. Kind of cool, huh?
Very cool.
It's great.
And you may be wondering, why am I up here talking about it, right? Well, it's my son, so, you know. And, I thought it was important to share the good news that, one of our local youth is really committing himself to academics. And, positive news in the community. I mean, let's keep it rolling. This is great, guys. So wanted to share this news with you, and we'll come back and let you know how he does.
That's perfect. Hang on, Michael, because we've got a little certificate we want.
I love it.
All right, this is impressive. Matthew, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, good. So we just want to recognize you for this and congratulate you on this. And, you know, it's a big deal. I've been reading a little bit about you. I know you're really interested in politics, it sounds like. And I think that's a great thing. I encourage you first to go through and get a career and then go into politics after that. We don't want you just to start right into politics. We've got too many of those in Washington, D.C. right now. So anyway, you got to be very proud of what you're doing here. And I'm going to let you talk for a second. Tell us a little bit about this.
So it's run by the international academic competitions, as you just heard, and yeah, it's online and you can do it in person. But if you win, if you get in the top 50%, you can go to Washington D.C. to go over and compete. And if you win that, you also get able to go to the international level, and wherever that's going to be in 2024.
Hey, Matthew, can you tell them where you rank? That you rank 2 out of 150?
That was great, Matthew. I can see you got a future in this. So this is just from the Board of Supervisors. We extend this expression of appreciation and gratefully acknowledge and commend Matthew Daniel, 5th grade, Great Valley Academy, representing California in the International Academic Competition, National Geography Championship in Washington, D.C. So congratulations. Do us proud back there, and then we'll look for you next at the international thing. Okay. All right, Matthew, thank you very much.
Nice job, Matthew.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture. You want to-
I'll stay out.
Okay. Come on over. Okay, all right, that's a good start to public comment. All right, we're going to move on. The next one I have here is Ruben Vega. Is that?
That's for B.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, all right, Ruben, sorry, we'll wait till we get to that. Okay, okay. So we do have another one that's not, looks like for any particular item, Rex Osborne. Rex, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, how many times have you gone someplace and just said to yourself, I'm going to stop and listen? And I wanted to thank the board. Terry, you're our representative where I live. And I just had an experience here, and Buck, how are you? I just had an experience here in the county building with county employees. And often, as a retired city manager, I say, I wish people would just tell somebody that counts. So I just had an experience with Natasha upstairs and assessors and Valentine over in the Treasury Department. And I got to tell you, you guys should be very proud of the employees you have. And oftentimes, all you hear are the complaints. And so I had an issue with them, with you folks. It was resolved by them. They did a great job. And I just wanted to take a minute as I walked by and say thank you, and that I appreciate what you do and what the folks that work in the county do. So, not complaining about anything, just letting you know.
That is great, Rex. Thank you very much.
I'm starting to tear up right now.
Yeah, no, we do.
Thanks, Frank.
You know,
Thank you.
I do appreciate it a great deal. I mean, one of those things where you guys have a program, government outreach. Are you familiar with it? It's online, it's an app program. And it's an app program, if I have something in the county that I need to address to a particular department, I can just go online and do that. I encourage you to look at it and ask for reports from that. On there, though, there's one failure, and that failure is it says if you have a complaint, click this and fill it out. You need to have that changed. If you have a compliment, click this and fill it out. So with that, you guys have a great day. I'm going to go pay a bill now, but I appreciate it.
That's great. Thank you, Rex. Yeah, you almost left us speechless here. We don't get that very often, and kind of a rule to live by. Not only complain in your life, but maybe try to compliment people every now and then. Thank you very much, Rex. Okay, that's all the speaker cards I have besides ones that are specific to items in particular. Miguel, do you want to comment about anything else besides what we have on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, in regard to the presentation of the training for the officers, the question is how many of these trainees is Mexican American?
Okay, we can get that for you.
Yes,
Miguel,
thank
we
you,
will.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else who hasn't filled out a speaker card that would still like to speak? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on from our public comment portion of the meeting to our consent calendar. We have a couple things going on here for consent. I think item B2 has been requested to be pulled. Does anybody on the dais, would they like to pull any other item?
A D1, I'm going to step down from that decision out of an abundance of caution. I've done business in the past with both the applicants.
Very good. All right, thanks, Vito. Any Chance or Manny, anything you'd like to pull from the agenda, from the consent calendar?
No, we're good.
No, we're good.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, and nobody else from the audience? So let's look for first a motion on the consent calendar with the exceptions of item B2 and D1.
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second. Can we do a roll call, please?
District 1 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
District 2 Supervisor Chiesa?
Aye.
District 3 Chair Pro Tem Withrow?
Aye.
District 4 Supervisor Grewal?
Aye.
And District 5 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
Very good, passes unanimously. Okay, let's pull D1, just let Vito run out for D1 really quick, and we'll do that one. Okay, for the record, Vito has left the dais. Okay, we'll look for a motion on item D1.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second. Can we do a roll call?
Second.
Roll call?
District 1 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
District 2 Supervisor Chiesa is abstaining. District 3 Chairman Pro Tem Withrow?
Yes.
District 4 Supervisor Grewal?
Aye.
And District 5 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
Very good, passes unanimously. We'll get Vito back in. Come on back. Okay. Vito has entered the building. Okay. All right, we will now move on to item B2. And we have some public comment on B2. Can I just start with the cards we have here and we'll go?
No, I want to start if possible.
Do you want to start first, Miguel? Okay, Miguel, come on. Okay, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. And let me pass that to the members. Mr. Chairman, what you're going to see is the information that we are requesting of the workforce development proposal to be approved from yours. We are asking for not to be approved under this recommendation or issues that we bring to you. One of the biggest issue, Mr. Chairman, is the same that we asking to the other committees. Number one, to that proposal that you have to be approved to be in Spanish. Number two, to give it to us technical assistant. And number three, under the federal and state guidelines of the workforce development, have to give it to us 30 days to the proposal review. One example of what you did right now is to put the agenda on the consent items. Very few people, Mr. Chairman, have the knowledge that you can pull that agenda. So under the public comment, it's not there. So we're asking, please, to give it to us 30 days that we can be approved and be recommended and have the interpretation of the proposal in Spanish, technical assistant, and give it 30 days. That's a mandate under the federal state mandate from the workforce development. And I have note in regard to the issue of the federal codes and regulation. The other point, Mr. Chairman, is the membership of the workforce development. It's supposed to be under the bylaws. It's supposed to be only for years. You have many members, there's more than 4 years. You have the I give you the information. We have members that not being said to us to say you cannot be there. And then we have members that have conflict of interest, Mr. Chairman, because it's in different committees and at the same time approve millions of dollars. The issue, Mr. Chairman, is when we're going to stop to questioning under Mr. Thomas Bose, the county council, to refrain these members to continue to approve proposals in regard to the 2030, in regard to the Stanislaus opportunity, in regard to the Stanislaus for Mr. Duran is a member there. So we question in the community foundation, we're questioning that process, Mr. Chairman, and under that, and the last part is the fiscal accountability of the workforce development. You're giving money to these different groups, in the same time have conflict of interest, how you giving the money? In the same time, how come the fiscal agency or the workforce development don't questioning that? Because it really is a conflict of interest. Even if you're not saying nothing, like you did with Mr. Chesa, they got never removed from the board. Never. From the different committees, they got never say nothing. I have conflict of interest because I'm a member of the board or I'm a member of the committee. So the question is, for how long we're going to continue to misleading the community in regard of the legality or the function of the board members, even appointed by you as a supervisor, and the same time members sit in the same committees and make decisions on millions of dollars of recommendation, and yet nobody asking the question, are you in conflict of interest? No. They are competing. Even members themselves make a motion and second the motion. So what we requested, Mr. Chairman, is to pull that, not to approve the workforce development before our public comments, and later you have to come back to the board supervisor and send the approval with our recommendation or disagreement to the governor, because that's the process. And what you did today is not the process. You put it under consent item. That's not public comment. We have to pull out the consent item to give you right now public comment. That's not fair, sir. So I'm questioning the process. And I hope so the county council listen to me or acting like you don't know to make comments. That's not fair. That really is not fair. Because you're talking about workforce development to low-income families using ARPA money, using all the funds, and yet we not have the executive committee 13166 to be the bilingual, limiting English proficiency, and the executive order 13985 is supposed to serve the low-income community and receive that training to the low-income community, and that not really happened directly. Somewhere, somehow, we are not training our kids to have a good job because there's no job in the county. And number two is that after you train these people, where we're going to live? We have the problem of housing. So there's no job and housing balance in the community. Zero. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Miguel. Okay, I've got a bunch of other ones that want to.
Can I just ask County Council?
Sure.
Because EDAC is a advisory, we went over this before, it's only advisory, it's the buck stops at the Board of Supervisors. So is there a conflict of interest because they don't have to fill out conflict of interest forms because they're just advisory in nature? Am I perceiving this right?
We're talking about workforce development here, right?
I'm talking about the EDAC committee, which is the economic development.
You know, I'm not really familiar with that, and I wouldn't think that there would be a conflict of interest. I would need to look at it closer because I'm not that familiar with the EDAC and how it plays in with the Workforce Development Board. But I do know that as the EDAC as an advisory board really doesn't have a decision-making abilities, and therefore the conflict of interest issues would be much less of a concern, if at all a concern.
Okay, and then is there a time frame requirement here on this specific item today?
I think we're gonna have Doris come up and talk.
Okay.
About this.
I didn't know that. Okay, so we'll go through, I'm sorry,
Doris, do you want to
Doris.
come up now, or do you want to wait till we go through all the public comment cards?
Yeah,
Let's go through
yeah.
all the public
I'm sorry.
comment first. Okay, all right, perfect, and then we'll have, all right, okay. So now, Ruben Vega, yes. Ruben, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, everyone. You hear me?
Yep, we can hear you good.
My name is Ruben, and I'm here for the community. And I just want to do this is Spanglish for people that don't understand English when for reading some papers, and they need a proposal in Spanish. That way, those people understand. And the reason I'm going to say this and too, and personas que no entienden en español ocupan el plan que lo traduzca en inglés a español. They need a technical support, and they need a 30 days plan for the public comments. Necesitan los 30 días para que las personas tengan tiempo de poder understand the plan, and they need el sistema técnico en español para las personas. And again, I'm here for Señor Miguel. Thank you for help, for understand everything, and I hope you can help us.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, all right, next up I have Evelyn, sorry, I can't read the last. Landris. Hold on one second. Did we lose them in DC?
No, we're okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, Evelyn, good morning, how are you?
Hi, good morning, thank you. I'm also here with Don Miguel. The report should be in Spanish. We should have translation when we're here. Also attending MAC meetings, and they still don't have a Spanish speaker. No Spanish papers, even in ELAC meetings. I don't exactly know who takes care of that, but there is nobody that has an actual job that translates everything in Spanish. We're 70% here, and we need technical support. And the housing report also to be in Spanish for everybody to be able to see it. When we would like that to be done in 30 days, if possible. And then the Measure L, I still am going to let you know, I still want the roads fixed for Measure L.
We do too.
Yes, thanks, Evelyn. Okay, next up, John Mataka. John. Morning, John, how are you?
Good morning, I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Well, my name is John X. Mataka, and I'm the president of the Grayson Neighborhood Council. I'm here today to request this board to hold off on approving the workforce development item B2 until the following issues are addressed. Number one, the proposal needs to be translated into Spanish. Number two, technical assistance needs to be provided to the community to help them understand the plan due to it being over 120 pages. Outreach, once the plan is translated into Spanish, needs to be held in all the cities in Stanislaus counties and unincorporated areas. Once these two items have been addressed, the 30-day comment period can begin because all the community will have a chance to comment. In closing, the racial equity officer needs to be in the community at all the outreach meetings in the community. And I'm sorry to say that I saw her, I don't know her, but I was told that she was here earlier to receive a mentee award. But, you know, her office demands that she's out in the communities, not up here at 1010 10th Street. We don't know her in our communities. She's supposed to be here to assist us with racial equity and all the things that happen at this board and throughout the county, and to not have anybody in any of the communities know who she is and where she comes from and what her intentions are is not okay. And so at some point, she's going to have to leave this place and come out. So she might as well get her feet wet as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. And next up, I have Debbie Martinez. Debbie, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Terry, for meeting me the other day. As always, I have been serving my community for close to 40 years now. My name is Debbie Martinez, and I represent We Are La Raza Parents Union. I developed that about 12 years ago because our children do not have the proper pathway, much less our stakeholders. And so I want to begin with workforce, and that's the key word, work. Work only begins and can be successful when our local government pays attention to how our educators educate our children. We just got done seeing a beautiful presentation, Terry. Thank you for once being a mentor, but you mentioned something, discipline. Our children don't need discipline because Modesto City Schools in May of 2018, we took them to federal courts. We knocked on the door, they settled at the door, we proved they were racist, biased, they lack empathy and compassion. I also do foster care. That's when I stumbled onto that bogus military school. Central Valley is so rich in agriculture and yet so poor in education. Volt versus what is a joke, it's a Band-Aid. Our disadvantaged population of children of color have only become profit over the person who they really are, the stakeholder, who's mandated to go to school, who's mandated to go in that portal that was talked about right here, portal to portal. But yet when they're received at their school sites, they're victimized. Nobody's paying attention when they come home in pine boxes. We just buried one in September over at Turlock. Who's paying attention to the smaller school districts? I was in Waterford yesterday where we're told that they still have a gangs list. Our little girls go to school dressed in black because they're Hispanic, they're considered gang members. I'd like that stopped. If we're going to push a workforce for our children, we need to close the school to prison pipeline. That is what's developed here. Every time I come to this governing board, whether it's the council or county board of supervisors, I'm always told, Debbie, you need to go back to the governing boards at the school districts. Well, they're crickets. They say nothing. They do nothing. So what does Debbie have to do now? If anybody's paying attention to San Joaquin's County Board of Supervisors, they're being investigated by Rippon's FBI. DA. Maybe that's what we need here. County Board of Supervisors, Stanislaus County Office of Education is making over 350 plus to give us a bogus military school where they're not setting them up for armed force, they're setting them up to take their commands in juvenile hall. I've been screaming that for 12 years now. These children are not in work right now. I can prove 2 that are in the state penitentiary. Who's paying attention? You want to pass this money? Where's it going? In whose pocket? Like I said, Central Valley is rich in agriculture and yet so poor in education. And then we got the Volt, a Band-Aid. Let's pay attention to them before they graduate from high school. Right now, they're at least 3 to 4 years behind at grade level for their age. I have plenty of families you'd like to talk to. I have plenty of districts that are in violations. You'd like to know who? I'm getting ready to go to the civil grand jury with all of this because right now they're paying attention and they're going to start investigating school districts and special schools. So before you pass any type of funding, let's close the school to prison pipeline first. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, that's the last speaker card that I have with regard to this matter. Does anybody else want to speak before we bring Doris up?
Yes, I think the clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Sure, come on up, Miguel. Doris, hold on one second, Doris, sorry.
Clarification, sir. The county council said, and Mr. Chase has said, maybe it's not in conflict of interest because it's only an advisory committee. That advisory committee have a representation of the board of supervisor from your board of supervisor. So he's sitting there to say it's not, there's only advisory, and then why you have 9 members of the city and 2 mayors sitting there? Only the advisor? I don't think so. That advice committee is mandated by the Economic Development of U.S. Chamber to recommend and to say things in regard to economic development of this valley. That's a simple guy. If that guy these people don't have the conflict of interest or the power, and then what the guy said in the committee? Like a rubber stamp? To just listen to the guys and receive money from the workforce development paid to Mr. David White to make all this report, and at the same time he's sitting there, he's the vice chair. And then you have 3 or 4 members that have conflict of interest in that board. And to say it's not legal, and you confused and you don't know what to do, investigate. Because that committee report what's going to happen to the cross landing by Kimmick, being paid by the county to Mr. David to do economic development. And you say that committee don't have no force? That committee has very important conflict of interest. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Miguel. Okay, Doris, come on up. Sorry about that. Doris, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Board of Supervisors, Assistant CEO Dietrich, and County Council Bose. I'm Doris Foster, the Director of Workforce Development. Before you, you have an agenda item that recertifies workforce development to be the recipient of workforce development funds. All that this does is allows us to oversee our program. If this agenda item is not approved or we do not continue to receive it, what would happen is the state would then choose to either look at another county to do the workforce development for us in Stanislaus County, potentially the loss of about $7 million in our area. Listening to Mr. Donoso and the rest, I really think they're talking about EDAC, which is not anything that we oversee. However, I am a part of that board, and I know that there are some issues that we've been talking about on the SEDS, and I think everything that they've kind of contributed to the SEDS, we are not responsible for the SEDS. We are not responsible for some of the concerns.
The SEDS, Doris, the SEDS, could you, what is that acronym?
It stands for Economic Development, Central Economic Development. I'm going to kind of, thank you, Tina. I told Tina she would have to come up here with me.
Tina.
Hi again. So SED stands for Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And so before you today is just the recertification. We have to do this every 2 years. That allows us to be the recipient of Workforce Development, Workforce Innovations Opportunity Act funding, and for us to run workforce development.
Okay. Any questions for Doris?
So I just want to ask about the translation, because I know that this has been brought up before on the document. And maybe Jody's the right person to ask of this question. I don't know that he's available. Does he have he doesn't have these documents?
No,
No.
he doesn't have those. Is this funded, the workforce development, is that funded by federal funds?
Correct. It's federal funds. We could translate this in Spanish. We have staff available that would be able to do that. I'm not sure, listening, that that's the request. I'm thinking they want to translate the SEDS document. We translate all of our training things, that marketing, everything we do is in Spanish and in English. This document we don't, but we will gladly do this document and translate it if needed.
And time-wise, as far as when this needs to be approved?
This is due to the state on May 26th. We could ask the state for an extension. I don't believe that would be a problem.
So my understanding is that the document that Doris is speaking about is securing the federal funds coming to the county, and workforce development is the county's department who receives and administers the WIOA funds, as she described. It is also my understanding that within this program, as within the other county programs which are federally administered, all of our outreach materials and externally provided data is, externally provided forms, is in multiple languages and in Spanish, so that we can have that outreach and engagement. However, when we're working on documents that are being submitted to the state and federal agencies, those are, and Tommy, correct me if I'm using incorrect words, the business documents, and those are not required to be placed in multiple languages.
That's
That
correct.
is what I believe we're looking at here. A designation that Workforce Development is the local agency to receive the WIOA funds. I don't believe it's presupposing the designation of those funds later. Is that fair?
You're absolutely correct.
More information, Mr. Chairman. We talk about this paper. Mr. Chairman.
So the document that you're requesting, Miguel, sorry, I know it's the third time we've had you come up here, sorry,
Mr.
Miguel, but
Chairman, I'm talking about this document.
You're
For
talking-
us to be part of the process of the 30 days, you have to, because you receive federal funds.
the
You have
SEDS,
to.
is that the SEDS document that
No.
we're
No,
talking?
he's holding the actual board agenda item.
That agenda.
Yeah, that's not necessary to be.
It had to, sir. Okay.
All right, I'm not gonna argue
discuss
with you, but it's
county
not,
council,
it
sir,
does not
because
have to be.
Miguel, it's okay, so we've let you come up here three times now, so let us kind of
No,
work
no,
through
what
this.
I'm saying is we're not talking about the big report that you already did in Spanish. I'm talking about this document for us to be part of the process of the 30 days, because after you approve of this one, you have to have 30 days or more days to send it, like the 20-something to the governor. If you are approval of that, at the same time, you have to give it to us 30 days for us to make the comment and the modification of this report, and that for the process, and why the county council had to be more analysis of what we asking in that letter. Because in that letter, we say there had to be public comment, and what you did right now is to have on the consent item, and that not being done by the office of the EDD office. That's the point, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thanks, Miguel. Okay, so I don't think that we're required to have our agenda in Spanish.
That's correct.
And this-
We are not required.
Yeah, as far, and that's what you're saying, this agenda
Not
item.
agenda. What is in the agenda, what this report that you are doing, sir, this is the whole package. I'm not talking about the agenda.
Okay, well, yeah, well, all we're talking about today is just this agenda item to approve
Yeah.
for our county
What's in the agenda.
to continue to get these funds. So,
I know you're going to approve it.
any other questions, comments?
So can I just ask, the SEDS document, which is not we're taking up today, that's the compilation that each city gives us, the binder that we get for their individual economic development strategies on a go-forward basis, the 9 cities, and then the county has theirs. And that's the SEDS document. I'm looking at Tina, right? Okay. I just wanted, and that's different from this.
So
Okay.
can that be translated, it sounds like it's not required to be, but we could translate that to Spanish.
He's asking about the SEDS document.
SEDS document.
And I believe you have some plans on.
Do you want me to address this?
Please.
No, it's not
Yeah.
agendized.
There is that.
Is that okay? Okay.
That's fine, just to,
So-
because it's been raised.
Okay, so the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, which we're referring to as the SEDS, is not required to be translated into Spanish. We are not under an obligation to do that.
Okay.
That is not this.
That's
Pardon me?
not what we're doing.
And that is not what's on the agenda today, but I believe it's come up in conversation here today.
Okay.
Is that what, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will come back to us in a future agenda, the SEDS document for approval
Yes.
by this board.
Yes, so the Economic Development Advisory Committee, which was also referenced earlier as EDAC, will be considering that, and then they make recommendations, and then that document does come to the board for final approval.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know when that comes, like a basic time frame? Is that?
It will probably be here later this summer. We we're going to be holding another meeting with the committee in mid-June to take into consideration some of the public comment that you've heard here today, as well as was shared with the committee. And we're going to be bringing some strategies back for that committee to consider for outreach. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I think we're getting off base here, but I got to ask one more question on the SEDS document. When the city of Houston presents their paper on what their economic development strategy is and to the future, or what it is currently, the EDAC, even though they take it up, they don't send it back and say this is not a valid strategy, right? We accept that.
Correct.
And we have our own strategy as a county that.
Correct. I would say we compile the document.
Yeah.
So each jurisdiction, we won't be telling Turlock, right, well, no, that isn't, you can't put that strategy in. So we compile the document and then would bring that forward. And it's really used for the jurisdictions to apply for EDA funding. So that's really the purpose of this document, is if a jurisdiction wants to go out and request or apply for certain funding for that project, it needs to be included in the document.
I'm going to ask no more questions on SEDS because I'm way off base. I'm sorry.
Okay, and I'm just thinking that before this comes to us, we can, it sounds like it's not required that it be in Spanish, but it could be. The individual jurisdictions could.
They could.
Could do that.
They
Put
could.
it in Spanish so that, as they go through their process. Okay. And that will come to us in a future agenda item.
Yep.
Okay, very good. All right, any other questions, comments with regard to this? Chance, Manny, any questions, comments?
Not for us.
Okay, very
No,
good.
I am on EDAC. I am the county representative on EDAC, and I concur with what Ms. Rocha had stated. And so I look forward. We did extend our 30-day period at our last meeting, so the 30 days have been granted. And in that amount of time, you're right, Pro Tem Chair, that in that time we could translate this document into Spanish. But to the whole point, it is completely separate on this current agenda item that we're going over today. And it will be brought to the Board of Supervisors at a later date for us to ratify the direction. Those are my short comments on the item.
Very good, thanks, Chance. Okay, let's bring it back to the board, and we're going to.
I'm going to make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call, please?
District 1 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
District 2 Supervisor Chiesa?
Aye.
District 3 Chairman Pro Tem Withrow?
Aye.
District 4 Supervisor Griwa?
Aye.
And District 5 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
Very good. Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you all very much, and thank you all for your comments. Okay, we're going to move on to item 6.1, public hearing with regard to Planning Commission's recommendation of approval of rezone application. Hold on, Angela, 1 second. We're going to wait for Buck to come back here, and we'll.
So while we're waiting, I was going to say at the Air Board meetings down in Fresno or here in Modesto and in Bakersfield, they have speakers actually in the bathrooms so that you don't ever miss what's going
That's a
on.
good idea.
And so our clerk is working on getting so we don't have to stop meetings.
Perfect.
Continue to hear testimony, and actually works really well.
That's great.
Kind of funny.
Okay, we're working on that, it sounds like.
I love it. It's one of those things I'm like, holy heck, it's wonderful.
Oh, just 1 more second here. Wait. Chance, Manny, it's nice weather back there, huh?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's great.
Not too humid.
Not yet, hasn't come yet, that's great. And
Yeah.
you guys are working through your lunch, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We're on California time still.
All right, that's good. Okay, we're good to go. All right, Angela, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, members of the board. I'm Angela Freitas, the Planning Director, and with me to present this item is Kristen Anaya, and I'm just going to turn the floor over to her.
Kristen, good morning, how are you?
Good, thanks. Good morning, Chair Condon, Pro Tem Chair Withrow, members of the board, Assistant CEO Dietrich, and County Council Bose. My name is Kristen Anaya, Associate Planner. This morning I'm here to present rezone application number PLN 2018-0057, Khmer Incorporated. This is a request to rezone a 5-acre parcel from general agriculture to planned development in order to allow development of a travel plaza in 2 phases, consisting of fueling facilities for passenger vehicles and tractor trailers, a convenience store, quick service restaurants, and a truck maintenance shop. The project site is located on North Golden State Boulevard between Nunes and East Keys Road, east of State Highway 99 in the unincorporated community of Keys. The site has a general plan designation of planned development, a Keys community plan designation of highway commercial, and a zoning designation of general agriculture, or A210. Vacant and agricultural property is located to the east, west, and south. Highway 99 is located to the south and west. The community of Keys is located to the north. Commercial and light industrial uses are to the south, and trucking businesses are located to the west. The project site is surrounded by several other highway commercial related projects which are currently undergoing land use entitlement review or have been approved and are in the construction phase of development. The most recently approved of these projects is Sangera Investments, a truck parking and dispatch facility which is not open to the general public and was approved in 2022. Sangera Investments is labeled 2 on the area map here and abuts the project site to the west. The site is currently vacant and unimproved. The applicant is proposing to develop a travel plaza in 2 phases. Phase 1 is proposed to include construction of a 3,300 square foot gasoline fueling canopy with 12 gas pumps, a 2,800 square foot diesel fueling canopy with 5 diesel pumps, a 4,800 square foot convenience store market, a 5,400 square foot truck shop for tractor trailer maintenance, and a truck scale. The site will be paved with 55 passenger vehicle parking stalls and 10 short-term truck parking stalls. No overnight parking is proposed. 18% of the parcel is proposed to be landscaped, with landscaping installed along the road frontages within the parcel boundaries and around the buildings and drive-through aisles. The project developer will also dedicate required rights-of-way and install curb, gutter, and sidewalks and matching pavement along the East Keys Road and North Golden State Boulevard road frontages. As part of the road frontage improvement, a 3 to 5 foot wide landscape strip will be installed between a meandering sidewalk and the curb and gutter to be maintained through the county service area number 26 once the site is annexed into the CSA. Phase 1 is proposed to commence within 24 months of project approval. Phase 2 will include construction of two 3,000 square foot quick service restaurants with drive-throughs. Occupancy of the restaurants will be determined after development. Phase 2 is proposed to be completed within 36 months of completion of Phase 1. However, the construction timeline may be extended with the staff approval permit as needed. Hours of operation are proposed to be 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, with the quick service restaurants to establish their own individual hours. Site operation will include 3 shifts per day with a total of 10 employees on a minimum shift and 18 on a maximum shift with 2 deliveries per day. The project is anticipated to result in 138 new AM peak hour and 90 new PM peak hour vehicle trips. Access is proposed to be taken from North Golden State Boulevard via 2 proposed driveways. Traffic improvements required to be installed with the development consist of an always stop located at North Golden State Boulevard at the northernmost driveway located on North Golden State Boulevard at the northernmost driveway, with the conduit stub out and traffic signal poles to be installed for future signalization, and construction of a southbound channelized right turn lane at the North Golden State Boulevard East Keys Road intersection with the receiving lane on East Keys Road. The project is proposed to be served with public water and sewer by the Keys Community Service District, and all stormwater will be maintained on site. All buildings are proposed to be a maximum of 32 feet in height and will be constructed with materials consisting of stucco, glass, and brick, with ceiling canopies proposed to be up to 20 feet in height. Here are examples of the proposed facades and materials of the proposed structures. The applicant is also proposing to construct a freeway sign and monument signage as part of this request. Staff has conditioned the freeway sign to be a maximum of 70 feet tall with height up to 85 feet tall as needed to ensure the sign is visible to both northbound and southbound traffic on Highway 99. 2 road frontage signs are proposed along the Golden State Boulevard and Keys Road frontages and have been conditioned to be no more than 8 feet tall and of a monument sign design. As mentioned in the board report, several issues have been identified in the processing of this project request related to reciprocal access between the proposed project site and the adjacent parcel, coordination of a single traffic impact analysis studying multiple proposed projects within the Keys Road and North Golden State Boulevard area, the necessary road right-of-way dedications to accommodate required traffic improvements, implementation of a Keys Community Plan traffic mitigation funding program, City of Turlock standards being applied to the project, and ensuring consistency with respect to the proposed signage. Reciprocal access has been required via Development Standard Number 14. Staff recommended a modification to the language of this development standard, which is discussed in further detail later in this presentation. The project's existing general plan designation and proposed zoning designation of planned development is consistent with the community plan designation of highway commercial. The highway commercial community plan designation is intended to provide for and promote a concentration of commercial uses serving the needs of the traveling public, including truck stops, service stations, and restaurants. The project, The project was referred to the Keys CSD and Keys MAC, and no concerns were raised. Standard conditions regarding connection to the Keys CSD for water and sewer services have been incorporated into the project's development standards. The project meets the county's agricultural buffer requirements, providing over 150 feet of distance from all adjacent agriculturally zoned parcels. The site is currently zoned general agriculture, or A210, and a rezone is required in order to approve the development of the site with non-agricultural uses. This project will maintain zoning consistency by adhering to the uses and development standards, including parking, signage, lighting, landscaping, fencing incorporated into this project. Staff's evaluation found the proposed project to be compatible with both the county's general plan and zoning ordinance. Pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, the proposed project was circulated to interested parties and responsible agencies for review and comment. Applicable mitigation measures from the Keys Community Plan were incorporated into the project to address potentially significant impacts with respect to aesthetics, biological resources, hazards and hazardous materials, noise, and transportation. The traffic impact analysis was prepared for the project and 2 other adjacent projects, mitigation measures consisting of requiring the developer to make road dedications, frontage improvements, including installation of an always stop at the northernmost driveway of North Golden State Boulevard, and development of a channelized southbound right turn lane at the Golden State East Keys Road intersection have been added to the project. Additionally, the project will be required to pay a fair share contribution towards the Keys Community Traffic Mitigation Fund, which is a program to fund future traffic improvements to the State Route 99 on and off ramps, North Golden State Boulevard, Nunes, and East Keys Road. Additionally, a health risk assessment was prepared for the project, which identified that the project will not result in significant impacts to air quality. Accordingly, a mitigated negative declaration has been prepared for approval prior to action on the project. The project is considered to have a less than significant impact with mitigation measures included. Development standards reflecting referral responses have also been placed on the project. The project was considered by the Planning Commission on April 20th, 2023. A memo was presented by staff recommending modification of Development Standard Number 14, which requires the developer to maintain a site layout that can facilitate drive aisles and future reciprocal access between their parcel and the Sangera parcel to the west if it ever converts to a use which is open to the public. The recommended modification includes adding language to only require reciprocal access if a maintenance agreement for maintenance of the pavement and driveway facilities on the Khmer Incorporated project site can be coordinated and agreed upon by the Khmer Incorporated developer. No one spoke in opposition of the project. The applicant spoke in favor of the project, but requested that if Development Standard Number 14 is applied to the project, that staff also require the Sangera Investments developer to contribute to the initial construction costs to install the road frontage improvements that the Khmer Incorporated developer will be required to make as part of their development standards. Additionally, a resident who lives approximately 750 feet north of the project site stated that she was neither in favor nor opposition, but expressed concerns over the impacts of the proposed development on the quiet rural character of the community, as well as with respect to noise, air, and health impacts resulting from the proposed use. The applicant responded that they selected the proposed location due to its distance from the adjacent residences and proximity to the freeway. During the public hearing, the commissioners asked questions about the condition of the surrounding roadways, the Keys Community Plan Traffic Mitigation Fund, and about the timing, feasibility, and need for requiring reciprocal access between the project parcel and the parcel to the west. On a 6-0 vote, the Planning Commission recommended that the Board of Supervisors approve the request as recommended by staff in the memo. To conclude, the Planning Commission recommended that the Board of Supervisors approve the project as proposed in the April 20th, 2023 Planning Commission staff report, including all of the findings in the board report, which include findings regarding environmental review, the proposed rezone, road dedications and improvement, and project approval with modification of development standard number 14 as outlined in the amended Exhibit C of the staff report. And that concludes my presentation, and staff's available for questions.
Very good. Kristen, thank you very much. Okay, any questions for staff before we open public hearing?
Yep. So we did adopt Turlock standard on the oil capture, right?
Yes.
So, okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought you said that because the sewage actually ends up in the city of Turlock from Keys.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for staff before? Okay, seeing none, we will open the public hearing. And I do have one speaker card here, Stephen Morrow. Stephen, come on up. Stephen, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Withrow. Okay, to the chairman, pro temp, Ms. Dietrich, County Council Bose, and the supervisors, including those participating remotely. Today I come representing the Keys Municipal Advisory Council. Back in February, this proposal was brought to the council and was endorsed by the Keys MAC. So we are in favor of this project. We think it will bring some needed traffic, some economic dollars to our little community, and so we're very much in favor of seeing this project go forward as planned. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Stephen.
Stephen, don't forget to say we hope some of that money stays in our community. I hear that from Salida all the time. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Any comments, public comments with regard to this project? Come on down.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amir Kehani, and this is my...
I'm Camille Kehani. We are the applicants.
On this project.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And yeah, we want to express our favor. We've been
working on this for a long time. As you can see, it's been since
2018, and we're eager to start. And we want to bring some development to the to the community of Keys, and see the project come to life as soon as possible. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so we worked a lot with Kristen Anaya, Christy Dowd, and Andrew Malaysia, and there's been a lot of effort. So, we're just hoping that we can move forward on this project and get started as soon as possible.
Okay, very good. Thank you guys both. Amir, Camille, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Any public comments with regard to this? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for any further comments, questions, or motion.
just one question on, if you go back to the map on the number 2 site right there, are they going to share, because there's a shared driveway on our proposed shared driveway, right?
Correct.
So who owns number 2?
Number 2 is owned by a separate developer. They do have existing access via a shared driveway with the project site labeled number 1. It's called the Keys Truck Center.
Okay.
However, if it ever opens up to the public, the proposed development standard number 14 is also included to allow reciprocal access between 2 and the project site. And then essentially they would utilize the driveway on the Camille Incorporated project site.
And this is unrelated, but parcel number 4, are they still working to expand the lower truck center into that, or is that still a separately owned parcel?
I believe it's still a separately owned parcel. Currently it's on hold.
Yeah, because it has no access other than through one of them. Okay, so I guess just a quick comment. This is prime real estate, all of those parcels that are showing right there in the Keys area. And it's just about mitigating really truck traffic and car trip generation. I think it was 1,200 per, I don't know, the convenience store, 1,200 per each. So that's 2,400 car trips just there, plus there's going to be some truck traffic. And that roadway has the capacity right now, but again, paying fair share fees to make sure I know there's a list of a bunch of projects, widening projects that they're going to pay into, but just making sure that we're collecting enough in fees. And I always talk to our public works, and I think that they're comfortable with it. So, this is a logical place, and it seems to make a lot of sense for commercial activity right next to the freeway, and I will support it.
Very good. Just one quick comment. Sorry, would you like to make?
Yeah, can I make one more comment?
Sure.
Yeah, regarding about the traffic and all that, we had to go through many site revisions in order to make it all work. The road is going to be widened out to, I think it's a 6-lane right there at the intersection. Everything's going to get bigger. We had to give up almost like an acre of our property to widen the road on Keys and Golden State. So I guess that was our concern on the shared reciprocal access between property number 2 and ours, because we did all these efforts in order to reduce the traffic flow or make it easy for traffic to flow. And number 1 and 2 already have a shared driveway. And then the proposed is that we also give property 2 a future access into our property. And that's why we weren't comfortable with that, because we already made all these efforts for traffic to flow properly in our property, and to add another one into our property, we thought it might cause some problems. But if that's going to be a condition, we just want it to be at least be fair, that they pay a portion or something to the construction costs and all the efforts that went into doing that.
That's currently a condition right now?
It's going to be a condition that in the future, if they change the use of their property, that we would give them access through our property as well.
Okay, maybe you can explain. So I'm trying to...
Yeah, it would need to be negotiated access, so they would have to come to an agreement as far as maintenance would go. But our general plan policies and just good planning is to have reciprocal accesses amongst the properties, so you can disperse the traffic and have the shared driveways. Sangera at this time is a private development. It's not going to be open to the public, and so there's no requirement at this point that they and the Khmers even have a conversation with regards to shared access. But in the future, we wanted to keep that opportunity open, but the way that the condition was structured and placed in the memo that went to the Board of Supervisors, it does give the Khmers the opportunity to negotiate any maintenance issues that would come up with that before they opened up their property.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the one thing that we made reference to Salida, and in the report here from the Planning Commission, it talked about how the applicant said they selected the location due to its distance from adjacent residents. And so I think that's great. That's one less thing to have to deal with, so that was perfect. Okay, we're back to the board for...
I'm going to make a motion to approve all staff recommendations.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we do a roll call, please?
District 1 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
District 2 Supervisor Chiesa?
Aye.
District 3 Chair Pro Tem Withrow?
Aye.
District 4 Supervisor Grewal?
Aye.
And District 4 Supervisor Condit?
Aye.
Very good. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you guys very much. Thank you, Angela, Kristen, Christy. Thank you, guys. Okay, we're going to move on to our correspondence.
This board has received the claims as noted on the agenda.
Acknowledge receipt of claims and refer as recommended on the agenda. Any Board of Supervisor reports?
I want to quickly first thank Chair Condit and Vice Chair Graywall, as well as our CEO, for taking time to go back to DC. Sometimes you come back and you're not sure that you did any good, but it's kind of the cumulative effect. If you're not there asking continually for our priorities, you might get left behind. So thank you for taking the time away from your families and everything else. That's number one. Number two, I don't know if anyone saw, but there was a press release from the governor last Friday. Suina Panu, who's in the county council's office, was just confirmed, right? I guess that's the right word, appointed as a judge in the Superior Court here in Stanislaus County. That makes 6 of the 22 judges came out of Stanislaus County, either public defender, district attorney, and/or county counsel's office. I think that's the 3rd one out of county counsel's office, which is just fantastic. She's going to do a great job. She's been a big support network for the board, especially in closed session, things that we talk about. So congratulations to her. And then if you guys could zoom in on me just a little bit. Ta-da. See that right there? Let's make that. I got 3 beautiful kittens that my wife has been taking care of that are going to be ready for adoption, sitting there. And this is their Tinder photo.
All right, don't show that to my wife. She would. I'm serious. She'd be interested.
Should take one?
Yeah.
Okay. The two gingers are males, and the one on, I guess, my left, which is probably your right, is a female. But anyways, and remember to spay and neuter your animals. Again, the shelter is full. We took care of these. They're wormed and ready for shots on the 30th of this month.
How old are they right now?
8 weeks old.
Okay.
Absolutely adorable. And I hate to break them up, but
we want all.
I've already got 2 kittens that I adopted from the shelter. So
I personally don't want any of them.
Care
That's
package
it.
deal?
That's my pitch. And go down to the shelter also, the Stanislaus County Animal Shelter, and go find your forever friend for sure.
Very good. Thanks, Vito. And tell Jamie thank you for doing that. Okay, Chance or Manny, anything out there you want to report?
Yeah, we're very excited for this week. Happy to be here on Washington, D.C. We're looking forward to having some great meetings, and hopefully we will be securing some funding for our county. So we're very excited, happy to be here, and great job today, guys.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Go get them back there. Okay, we will move on to our legislative, fiscal, and management report. Our Assistant Chief Executive Officer, Patrice Dietrich.
Yes, just a couple quick things to share today. In the past week, the California Department of Housing and Community Development announced something called a Super NOFA, NOFA meaning Notice of Funding Availability. This particular release is for multifamily housing, infrastructure, farm worker housing, and veterans housing homelessness prevention. There's a total of $576 million available statewide. The application documents will be posted and available June 1st, and interested jurisdictions would need their applications due back by July 12th. So county departments who work with housing and homelessness have taken note. We are watching the federal level discussions on the federal debt ceiling. The date for that to be resolved is coming up very, very soon. I did connect with Donna Riley, our treasurer tax collector, to ask if she did have any concerns about cash flow impacts to the Treasury, and she has assured us that we have sufficient cash funds available should there be any delay in interest payments. And then we will continue to monitor that depending upon if that continues forward. There can eventually be delays in federal funds that come to operate our program, so we'll just keep an eye. Nothing pressing right now. And then last, May Revise, of course, is out there. I'm going to call the picture on the state budget hazy right now because of the delays in the tax collections process, which impacts not only cash receipts, but also the state's ability to do projections for revenue. And how they monitor their revenue always makes us also closely monitor our revenue and those revenues we receive from them. So continuing to watch that, the LAO issued their report and has identified what they're calling the real projected deficit at $40 billion. The state budget has to be balanced, so we're anticipating that significant mid-year adjustments at the state level will also be coming. So this is going to be an ongoing view, although in the next couple of weeks we'll see a lot more focus on discussions rounding up the budget. It does need to progress for June 15th signing, so we'll keep watching.
Very good, Patrice, thank you very much. Okay, we've got a couple of representatives here. You guys want to come up and give any reports? Gavin, good morning.
Good morning. Chairman Pro Tem, members of the board, county staff, and community, thank you. Gavin Klein with Congressman Duarte's office. Just a quick update. Congressman Duarte has been hard at work here in D.C. this past week to deliver results for our valley. Over the past week, Congressman Duarte has helped introduce a bipartisan water infrastructure bill, celebrated National Police Week, and by voting in favor of multiple bills by supporting our police, and stood up for affordable food for our valley families. Working Valley families are suffering because Washington hasn't protected our water. As a farmer, Congressman Duarte knows our dams, canals, and levees are not delivering the water we need to keep food affordable and provide high-paying jobs. The Water Infrastructure Modernization Act is a common-sense solution to getting more water to Valley families, farmers, and small businesses. By investing in our water infrastructure, we are securing a better valley for our kids. Congressman Duarte is proud to join both Democrats and Republicans in introducing this bill. This bill invests $50 million to bring clean and affordable water to our families, farms, and small businesses. This bill supports community water systems, innovative technologies, and storage systems. Congressman Duarte came to Congress to defend our police. Last week during National Police Week, Congressman Duarte and colleagues passed a series of bills supporting the brave men and women in our law enforcement. These bills protect officers' rights to due process and honor those who have sacrificed their lives to keep us safe. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Gavin. Justin. Good morning.
Good morning. It's different look up here. We have a nice young lady up here to look at. It makes it a little more welcoming up here. You can big old group of men. Well, my name is Justin Farkas. I am a representative for Assemblymember Juan Alanise's office. Just up here, excited to report that the Assemblyman has been afforded the opportunity to move his fourth and fifth bills to the Assembly floor this week. Next Friday is going to be what they call the House of Origin deadline, meaning any bill that has made it to the floor of their respected house needs to make it to the next house by next Friday. So you should be hearing hopefully not too much debate. I think a lot of our bills have some common sense and have really garnered bipartisan support, but you should be seeing those bills move forward to the state Senate sometime within the next 2 weeks. So we're really excited to talk about that. One of those bills being Assembly Bill, what's the number? 355, which kind of lines up with the presentation we got at the beginning of our hearing meeting today regard to post-training and the ability for potential officers to go and receive tactical rifle training along with their post-training. Really kind of makes the cost a little bit less on our future officers. Another one that we're excited to have heard on the Assembly floor in the next couple weeks is going to be Assembly Bill 255, which gives priority registration at our UCs, CSUs, and community colleges to first responders, help alleviate some of the new mandates that have come with being a police officer here in our state. So that's really it for me. Oh, there is one more thing. Tomorrow on Wednesday, there's going to be a special hearing. It's going to be a joint hearing with the Public Safety, Health, and Select Committee on Fentanyl and Opioid Addiction regarding fentanyl and the crisis that we're seeing in our state. So if you have any questions and would like to tune into that, feel free to reach out to our office. We'd love to give you the information. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Justin. Okay, before we adjourn, we're going to go in closed session. Tom?
Yes, we have closed session. We have a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, Subdivision D1. We have 4 cases. County of Stanislaus versus Nathan Cox. Stanislaus County Superior Court case number CV 22004847. County of Stanislaus versus C.W. Bauer, Inc. et al., and that's in the Stanislaus County Superior Court, and case number CV 2300282. And County of Stanislaus versus Corey L. Gilbert et al., and there's 2 cases involving 2 different parcels. First case is case number CV 220025566 and CV 220002526. With that, it would be appropriate to go to ask for public comment.
Okay, any public comment with regard to a closed session? Seeing none, I want to thank John Gingrich, Sheriff's Department, for being here today for us, and everybody else. Stephen, thanks for sitting around for the whole meeting. And
I have one more thing. It looks like I gave Vito the wrong information with regard to our judges, and I better clear that up, or when I go upstairs, I'll be in trouble.
Okay.
More, huh?
There's more, way more. I only identified 6 of the 22. There are 14 directly from our county, and 14 judges and 1 commissioner who is also from the DA. So we have a total of 15 out of 22. Almost 70% of the judges are from our organization.
Sounds like a good breeding ground. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, very good. With that, this meeting is adjourned.